Hey everyone, welcome to Mannys Mic Locker. I've been recording for about 25 years. I'm a producer in Los Angeles, just assuming you don't know. And I work with a lot of strange and weird bands. So microphones have been my gateway to be almost affordability of recording really interesting records, which means I spend a lot of time buying weird guitars, weird pedals, weird amps. The microphones then fit in that category because I can get mics to enhance or degrade sounds, to make, I have some mics that are kind of beat up and they're real beaters, and I may put those on a clean, boring amp and suddenly it sounds interesting. Speaking of that, I do have some dynamics as well, and the reason I want to showcase is because I feel like mics also are psychological. For instance, this is an AKG 60 D224E, very, all over the Beatles videos, and this is definitely, very, very Ringo Starr drum kit stuff. These are great for acoustic guitar as well. I love this mic. It's one of my favorite hi-hat mics, but come to find out, this is the Mick Jagger mic on Sympathy for the Devil. So when I have a vocalist come in and they're a little tense, I put this on the table and go, okay, here's your Mick Jagger mic for Sympathy for the Devil. Then I can grab another dynamic. This is an AKG D1000. This is the David Bowie handheld from Ziggy Stardust. And if you can see some pictures of him, this is what he's singing out of. So now I got the Mick Jagger, now I got the David Bowie. And then if you're a little kind of like fancy pants, I got my Frankie. This is a Frank Sinatra D24. The true story to this one, its internals are D19, which is Ringo Starr's overhead. It's half the price. It's got a little bulb. You'll get in a fist fight if someone says that these sound just like the D19s. They don't, or whatever. I don't even care. This is one of the greatest vocal mics I've ever had, and if Frankie can use it, then you can use it. So I have these mics. I put them in front of the vocalist, and I let them pick whatever mic they want, and that's fun. First off, we're going to be going to Dweezil Zappa. Dweezil Zappa has a wonderful studio in Los Angeles. It is next level, world class, no lie, 12 feet high stacks of gear. But we're specifically going to his mic locker. I want to talk to Dweezil. He has a great selection of mics. And I want to find out what his theories are on some of these and why he uses them. Stick around to the very end, because as we talk about old dynamics and some vintage stuff, I do have a friend, Cole out of Nashville, that he helps me to repair and clean some of these older mics. And I think it's really important that if I'm going to give you some information on some old mics, you definitely got to have a guy that can fix them for you. All right, let's get straight to it. Going to Dweezil's Mannys Mic Locker.
Supposed to be doing this with Manny, but he's not here. I'm Dweezil Zappa, and this is Manny's Mic Locker. Well, it's going to be my mic locker, but Manny is supposed to be here. I don't know. Let's just get started. All right, so I'm going to open up the mic locker, and you see I've got all kinds of things in here, but what's cool is this keeps everything organized, but then if I want to, I can just open this right up. And behind there's a bunch of other shelves with other mics. Oh, hey, Manny.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Is that where you were? You were just hiding back there?
It is called Mannys Mic Locker. So I actually came in here last night, snuck in here. I didn't know if Dweezil was going to show up, so I just stayed the night in there. It was really nice. It was really wonderful.
Super comfy, right? All right. Thanks, man. This is really the mic locker, and it has this swiveling divider, and it's all sort of labeled up, and we can reach in and we can grab mics out, and every mic is using the triad orbit little guy that just kind of sticks right in there. So these all clip on real fast, and all the mics that we use in the studio are really easily accessible and very quick to stick in because of that triad orbit thing.
Super smart.
Well, what's good about this is it's like little cubbies for the things that you need the most, or just quick grab microphones. And sometimes there's a couple of weird things in there, like this is that little halo mic. I've used it for a lot of different things. It's pretty good on guitars. I've used it for oddball drum miking. It's kind of got a notchy, mid-rangey sound. Looking at it, it puts you in a different space.
Does it have multiple mic patterns or no?
This one doesn't, but it's just one of those kind of vibey things.
Totally.
That,
looks old school.
It's kind of fun to have. Everything is kind of the standard workhorse stuff. You know, you got 441s and things. These, my dad used to use these as vocal mics on stage. And this was also Stevie Nicks' vocal mic. You've seen her in some of the videos, like her and Tom Petty.
Everybody would usually say, oh, the Stevie Nicks mic.
Yeah.
Or the Zappa mic, I guess.
Yeah, well, my dad had them for years on stage as vocal mics. And they're actually really good for like the crotch mic for a drum kit, just like sneaking it in over the drum, over the kick drum towards the snare. This one, I feel like you can get some pretty cool sounds out of.
So to most that would maybe not know, this is a dynamic, even though it looks crazy. It's was known for in the 70s, you know, any classic studio in the 70s and 80s, and even now you'll still find them in world-class studios. It's one of the greatest dynamics, you know, technically.
Yeah. It really does have a cool sound that's different than some of the other dynamic mics that are pretty standard. You know, this is just another flavor of that kind of stuff. In the other areas of the studio or of the mic locker, this is pretty much filled with cases for stuff, although there are a few other oddball things in here. There's like a Mesonovic stereo ribbon mic in here, a few other odds and ends. There's some other AEA stereo
I love
mics.
the AEA R88. Is that out here or no?
Yeah, that's on a stand over by the drum
That's
kit.
one of the greatest stereo ribbon mics on earth.
It really sounds good. And there's a different version in the ceiling. It's the 44s.
Oh, yeah. It's two, they're called N8s.
Yeah, the N8, but you can put two of them together and make them stereo, and you can change the pattern, but there's a stereo bar up there.
I personally have seen a lot of studios. I don't remember one that has such a wicked mic locker, and it's totally custom, right?
Yeah, the amount of space that you have and try to use it the best you can for storage. Studios almost always have way less storage than they need, and this was just a way to have easy access to things that you want all the time, and then have more stuff
like the
back
AEAs
here.
Back there,
Yeah, there's some, you know, like the Elvis style 44 and a few other cool things back there, but there's, like I said, the ease of use. And then you close it up and you're good. And
one thing, I don't know if you can tell, there's a design in here. Can you share us the origin?
Well, it's sort of a nod to the Van Halen geometric stripes. It's a modern look anyway. So I like that it's also a nod to Edward. But some of the mics that we have available to look at that are weirdos, this one is the Raygun, and it's like...
oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah, this is the 642 EV, and
I mean, it literally looks like a ray gun. You could, you know, what's up? Watch out. You know, you never point a mic at someone unless they're recording, but you can look at that. The thing is amazing. And it's considered maybe a shotgun?
Yeah, so this was used in the 50s as a way to record dialogue on movie sets. We've got one that's very similar to this, but it's bigger. And here it comes.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So this one is definitely what they would have used on the bigger sets, and you can get that parabolic kind of thing where you point it at something and it picks up what you want from an enclosed space.
Look at this thing. This thing is almost, I mean, this is like, I don't even know, that is crazy looking.
Yeah, it's another Raygun looking thing. Now, I've seen pictures of this used in an early Led Zeppelin session where it was just over the drum kit and there was only one other mic on the kit.
Oh my God.
The thing about having access to things that make odd or different noises is it gives you a different way to start the foundation of a sound. So like instead of starting with all the typical stuff, just move this into place and listen to it and then say, all right, this sounds good. Now what do I need to work in around that sound? And that's one of the things that I like to do with microphones in general is kind of work backwards from a flavor perspective. You know, if you're looking for something different, try something you wouldn't normally do and then build around it.
I love that. And also, one thing you will need when you get this mic is a stand that is worthy to hold it. As you can tell, this boom goes up, across about 2 feet. So once again, we're always talking about mics and things to put on. This is definitely something you're not going to put on a boom stand unless it's like an Atlas or something from the, I mean, they sell them now. You can go to Guitar Center and get a really cool stand.
Yeah, this one happens to have come from Sun Studios. Oh, wow. So maybe Elvis actually sang on a mic dangling from this stand.
I love it. Anything in this little area you want to go
I've got
over?
some other stuff like this little treasure box from Scope Labs. They make these really strange periscope mics.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's like, Can
I grab one?
Yeah, sure.
Just don't drop it, Manny. Wow, look at this.
These have built-in compression and distortion. The thing about them is this is, again, one of those things where without listening to any other mic, put this on something and then decide how close or how far, because that's going to affect how the compression or the distortion will react to the signal. Yeah. So you could use this on a piano, you could use it on a guitar, it sounds great on drums.
Use it musically, you just want to make your ears go, I like that.
But the thing is, there's nothing to adjust the compression or the distortion on here.
It's sound pressure.
Yeah, so you have to just choose wisely where you put it. And it gets super crunchy, but you can do cool things with these mics. They look cool too, so I mean, it's like, you want one of these.
I think you do want one of these. I want one of these.
Yeah. And now, this is probably one of the coolest mics that I have in here.
The Holy Grail.
Yeah. Look at this thing. I wonder where I got this.
I wonder where you got this from.
This mic right here, this is a very good specimen. It's a very nicely maintained microphone. It's the Altech Coke bottle mic. Wow. Now, this one actually came from Manny. He had this and he brought it over and then he didn't leave with it. We tried it in all different places. So you could use it standing up, you could speak into it, you could point it at stuff. But the thing is, as a crotch mic, again, that going over the shell of the kick drum, pointing at the snare, this thing on this 26-inch kick drum did the coolest thing. It got the beater side and the other side where you have all of that air moving. It got the attack from the beater side and all of the low end from the other side. And I don't know exactly how this thing is built, but I've never heard a mic capture both sides in one and make it have the exact personality of that kick drum.
I was hip to these mics in 1998 or 97. I recorded with Steve Albini in Chicago. He recorded my band. And actually that's what influenced me to record. And eventually about a year later, I hit up Steve to ask him if I could learn how to record from him. So that's how I met Steve. But in doing that, I was definitely turned on to this microphone. And they come with different capsules. This is a 21B as in boy. And there's a 21D as in David, and that's a different capsule. I don't know if you can tell, but let's see, that one's flat on top. There's no holes, but there is a slat there. And I have a feeling this is, you can either speak like this or like this, but they're all omnis. But the way the sound enters the capsule absolutely has everything to do with the sound. Now, a 21D has holes on the top, so obviously the sound pressure comes from the front. The sound comes in from the side. When I had these, I think this is why when he brought it over the kit, you're kind of getting this sound pressure that's coming up through these tiny little vents there. And that may be how you're getting the front and the back and the omni, but it's kind of exaggerated or emphasized that the kick sound. I love those mics. They're some of the greatest mics on earth,
We tried it in every weird place, even directly on the floor, a few feet away from the drum kit, which I believe is the Steve Albini trick, maybe. It is a great sounding microphone, and it could be just very much the core of a drum sound, and you just add a little to it afterwards.
I love it.
Because if you think about the drum kit as an instrument of itself, instead of all the separate parts that you have to have very specifically isolated, the old way that drums were recorded was just one mic in a room, and it was whatever was closest was the loudest thing in the room, and you had to move things around and kind of mix based on proximity.
Absolutely.
But the sound of a drum kit all by itself, like where a good player is playing, if you get a great sound with just one mic, you're going to have a personality to the recording that makes it more timeless.
I, even in my own studio environment, didn't really mess around with all the different places for that. So when Dweezil came, of course, Dweezil's got the mind of, hey, let's put it on the back of a pickup and drive it by your house, like, so we went around the drum set, and he just met everywhere he put that mic in his mind where he thought, I wonder if this is cool. It sounded cool, like I said, a crotch mic, up above. And that's the beauty of, when I talk about Mannys Mic Locker, it's about getting mics and learning what they do, that you can make recordings, and you don't use it because, like, I know we're saying that's a cool mic, and it is expensive because it's a tube mic, but if you're going to spend the money and you want to buy something really cool, an Altech Coke bottle is probably a great investment if you're going to buy your first vintage mic, and it's really useful. All right, Dweezils, what do we got here?
Well, we have a bag that is for a weapon. This is the MA-37 from Mojave.
And the hat matches.
Well, yes, it does. It does match very well. Now, this particular microphone it's a great version of an older Sony mic. It's based on
C37.
The C37. So, but this, I have 4 of these in here. And so the thing about it is, this microphone is so good with anything of any volume level. And you can use it for room sounds, guitar sounds, drum sounds. But it's amazing when you use multiples on a drum kit. Well, the toms in particular really sound amazing with these. Kick, snare, tom. What's great is it just sort of, again, it rejects the cymbals in a way that make it really pleasing, where you're just hearing the drum aspect, all of the heavy duty stuff that you want to hear from a drum kit.
It's like the heavy lifting of the mic is done.
Yeah, this does it, and again, without any EQ.
Well, for some of you that would even see what I've done, I have done a few Produce Like a Pros featuring this mic, and one of the reasons this mic really shocked me, as we were talking about the Coke bottle, I have symbolically maybe, Dweezil got my Coke bottle because I've actually fallen in love with this one.
Yeah.
And I love the fact on drums, it doesn't have a lot of cymbals in it, but the coolest thing about this is there's little holes all inside so the tube breathes to the body. And there's a lot of things in the design that I thought were really cool. Now, when you have the subject of vintage mics, I just, like, even the Altech, I had to get it recapped and redone. So whenever you buy a vintage mic, don't fool yourself that you're not going to send it to a tech and spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to have cables and stuff redone. The Mojave, the coolest thing about this is brand new. It's under warranty. They make these right now, and they'll service them, and they're just beautifully crafted mics. I mean,
for sure.
I'm not paid to do that, but I'll say that it's one of my favorite new mics on the market for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing bad that can happen when you have that microphone in front of a sound source.
Nothing at all. I know I'm doing this mic locker thing where I'm really focusing on the mic locker. Really quick, tell us about this studio and in a quick summary of where it came from, how it came from, and actually what are you looking to do at your studio?
Well, it's a studio that is really about exploring sound. So there's interesting mic choices, but there's also interesting ways to implement them. I have mics in the ceiling. I have them in the hallway. I have them already kind of hooked to the wall. There's these triad orbit bases that you can hook up to the wall and just stick things in.
I've seen them around. That's a microphone stand company that they can actually hold like 7 mics on one stand.
You can do that, but you can also have other places. Let's say you have a small space and you don't want to stand in there. You can actually put it in the ceiling, or you can put it on the sidewall, and you can have boom arms that attach.
I love that.
And it's just a real quick setup for that. So, but the idea behind the studio was to be able to record music, new music, but also
your music.
Well, mine, or working as a producer with other people, and also be able to do live productions that could be broadcast from the studio. We can do video, we can do audio. I can mix in Atmos. So it's a pretty heavy duty setup, but it wasn't always going to be that. It just became that more when COVID changed so many things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to tour 6 months out of the year for almost 15 years straight.
Wow.
And then I haven't been touring because the industry got basically wiped out from it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me here. I'm a huge fan of Dweezil, and not only on his, I've come to get to know him as a producer and an engineer, and kind of a guy that's really, you can spend about 2 hours hearing his philosophy on recording, and really it's mind-blowing. So the fact that I get to know you, and if you don't know, he's one of the most incredible guitar players on earth, and we get to sit around and I get to learn Van Halen solos from him. So I think we're going to get into Eruption right now, so we got to get going. Anyways, thank you for checking it out, and stay tuned for some more mic lockers.
All right. See ya.
Hey guys, I'm Cole and I own a business called Colpix Vintage where I do repairs on ribbon and dynamic microphones. Manny asked me to come on and give just a quick pitch of my services. So if you need any help with any ribbons or dynamics, I work on a lot of AKG D12s, anything like that, any microphone that you need re-ribboned, I can help you out. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video of Mannys Mic Locker. I'm certainly pumped to check out all the videos. And yeah, again, if you need any help with any microphone repairs, I'm here to help. You can go to my website, colpixvintage.com.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching Mannys Mic Locker. Thank you, Dweezil Zappa.